Welcome to another video in this faith series. I'm loving having you along for the ride. Thank you for joining my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'm hoping that you are enjoying these videos, and I just pray that God bless you. We are looking at faith. I'm doing a series on faith. This is the third talk. If you haven't yet seen the first two videos, then make sure that you get them from my channel. And today I want to look at a different kind of faith. What makes one person's faith more acceptable to God than someone else? And in Hebrews 11, in chapter 11, verse 4, it says, "By faith, Abel offered God a better sacrifice than Cain. By faith he was commended as a righteous man when God spoke well of his offerings, and by faith he still speaks, even though he is dead." This character, Abel, who we read about in the Bible, and perhaps the best known thing about him was that he was murdered by his brother. Cain killed Abel. That's what people know when you say, what about Cain and Abel? Oh yeah, Cain killed his brother Abel. Well, yes, but there is something that Abel did just in passing, one or two lines in scripture, which says that even though he is dead, his faith still speaks thousands of years later. Isn't that amazing? Abel and Cain both brought sacrifices, offerings to God. But I want to tell you that in this passage of scripture we realize that not all sacrifices are equal. There was something about Abel's sacrifice that really pleased God, and God said it counted to him as faith. As far as we know from Scripture, from Hebrews 11 again, verse 6, faith pleases God, and God was pleased with Abel's sacrifice. What was his offering? He offered the firstborn of his lambs, the firstborn of his livestock. On the other hand, Cain, who brought vegetables or produce from, he was a farmer, he brought them as an offering to God, and God was not well pleased with what he brought. The faith that had arisen out of Abel's sacrifice produced righteousness, according to verse 4. Wow, faith produces righteousness. Isn't that beautiful? Now, what was it that made Abel's sacrifice superior to Cain's? Well, we have to go back to the book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 2, and let me just read some of these verses. It says, "Now Abel kept flocks, and Cain worked the soil. In the course of time, Cain brought some of the fruits of the soil as an offering to the Lord, and Abel also brought an offering, fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. The Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but on Cain and his offering he did not look with favor. So Cain was very angry, and his face was downcast. The Lord said to Cain, 'Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it.'" These verses have stumped a lot of people. People are troubled as to try to explain why God preferred Abel's sacrifice to Cain. I don't believe it's because only a blood sacrifice is accepted by God. In actual fact, Leviticus tells us that produce from the land was also an acceptable offering to God. And so I don't believe it was that. There is also no specific sin here that needs to be forgiven through an offering of blood. But I think there is something that we need to dig a little bit deeper. Could it be that Cain gave his leftovers to God? Let's read the text a little bit more carefully. The scripture tells us that in the course of time, Cain brought his offering to the Lord. And actually, if you look at the original Hebrew, literally it says, "in the end of days." So what Cain did is that he looked at what he had in all his crops, and then he determined how much that he was going to need, he and his family, and what he would need to keep for himself. And then finally he determined what he would give to the Lord. It was almost though he then gave the rest or the scraps to God. And such an attitude betrays a lack of faith, or portrays a lack of faith. And Abel, on the other hand, brought the first fruits of what he had, and that was acceptable to the Lord. You see, faith is a lot to do with the how, not always the what. Jesus said that the woman who gave a penny, which was all she had, gave more to God than the rich who would, in monetary terms, give so much more. But they were just giving God a tip. Cain got angry when he saw that God had not accepted his sacrifice. You know, I love how the Bible just gives us these conversations that God had with these early humans. He's busy chatting away with Cain, and there's this dialogue backwards and forwards, just like God would come and talk to Adam in the garden. I love it. And God says to Cain that God always accepts sacrifice when people do what is right. But if we give out bad motives, sin is trying to get hold of us. And so today, let's get our faith up. Faith is about having the right motives. It's about putting God first. It's about recognizing that God is our source. He is our everything. And so when we bring any kind of offering or sacrifice or worship to the Lord, let it be our best. Let it be our first fruit. Let it be the thing that pleases God, that gets counted to us for righteousness, because that's what God is looking for. He's looking for that genuine, authentic, real, childlike faith. So may your faith grow day by day as you spend time with the invisible God, who reveals himself by faith to the hearts of those who love him. Please subscribe to the channel, and hope to see you back for some more videos. Check out other videos on this faith series, and may the Lord bless you.